Let's continue our team coverage with a closer look at the election results and how Donald Trump pulled off this upset.
And Local 10 senior political reporter Michael Putney is here with the breakdown. Long night for you.
Oh, a long night for the country, for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and yet I think it was worth it. Janice, Christie, very simply, Donald Trump supporters turned out and voted in greater numbers than the Hillary Clinton supporters in the state of Florida. South Florida gave Hillary Clinton some huge numbers, as expected. In Miami-Dade, Clinton received an astounding number of votes, 623,000. But Trump didn't do badly in Miami-Dade. He won about 333,000. In Broward County, the most Democratic county in the state, Clinton got 66%, or about 546,000 votes. Yet again, Trump did fairly well there. He got 258,000 votes. The vote totals are record-breaking in South Florida. For Clinton, 1.1 million votes in Miami-Dade and Broward. But Donald Trump's totals were pretty good, considering that Republicans in South Florida are outnumbered. Trump got about 592,000 votes. But here's where we in the media, including me, got it wrong. We covered this the Trump rallies and underestimated the depth of feeling and the support that these people had for Trump. He told us it was a movement, not just a political campaign. Turns out he was right. His supporters told us, and we didn't hear them clearly. We in the media also should have seen that he always drew many, many more people to his rallies than did Hillary Clinton, and they were not fair weather supporters. These people voted, some for the first time and others for the first time in a long time. The polls in Florida were not off by that much going into the final days of the campaign. The last poll that I saw came out the day before the election, had Clinton up by 1%. In the end, Trump won Florida by a little more than 1%, 120,000 votes. He turned out his base and then some. Hillary Clinton turned out her base, but it simply wasn't enough. People in Florida and the nation wanted change. They want to make America great again, and they have made Donald Trump the repository of their dreams and hopes.
Well, Michael, now moving forward, what will be the first couple things that Donald Trump has to do to unite this country? It's so divisive right now.
The country is more divided than any time I can remember since the Vietnam War. I'd say what he did last night, early this morning, was the right thing. He is going to try to unify this country, say, I'm going to be the president for all Americans. That was a very good first step, but there are many steps to come.
Yeah.
And I know that President Obama invited Trump to the White House to speak with him tomorrow. I'm sure we would all love to be a fly on the wall during that conversation.
You bet we would like to be there, because the relationship is at least chilly. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner a couple of years ago, the president ridiculed Donald Trump. And there is a belief that part of the reason why Trump ran for president was because President Obama held him up to ridicule, satirized him. And I mean, Donald Trump is not somebody to let an attack go unresponded to.
And took the challenge.
And he took, you better believe it, he took the challenge, and to his credit, he won.
He won. All right.